My hand is healing. So if you watch the previous podcast, my hand was not looking good to the point where literally my mom texted. I didn't want my mom to know. I didn't tell my mom anything because she's a nurse, and I was like, if I send her a picture of my hand, she might have a heart attack. So then she watched a podcast. That's what I'm thinking, because she texted me a whole thing of like, how could you do that? Like, are you crazy? But it's healing. It's getting good. But anyways, welcome to Talks with T. This week, I want to talk a little bit about letting go. Let it go, let it go. Put some like Frozen on, like put like Olaf right next. I put like Olaf right here. Intern. So I put like right here. You see, like right here, put Olaf right now. Anyways, because it's only man I need. And Jesus. So anyways, I want to talk about letting go, and that can be different for a lot of people. It doesn't have to. I think like when we think of letting go, like relationships, friendships, I think it's everything in life. Like there's just things that are going to come our way that don't serve us anymore, and you got to let go. And it took a good minute, but I think like the art of letting go it's different for everyone. And when you know, you know. When you know, you know. There's a lot of like song references. When you know, you know. I'm a singer. But anyways, so I think letting go is something that everyone feels in different areas, different times. Like something that is easy for me to let go of might not be easy for you to let go of. And that's a thing that like you have to come to terms with yourself. I want to talk a little bit about like how I deal with that, how I've dealt with that, how I'm dealing with that. I think that in a lot of areas of my life, the things that are important to me, it's very hard for me to let go. And it took a long time for me to like kind of deal with that. And I think that comes with, again, let's take like career, for example. I remember like thinking to myself, like, what would happen if God took away my music or took away my voice? Would I be able to let that go? And for a while, like I struggled with that. Like I struggled with the idea of like, what if that was something I had to let go of, like that dream? And it killed me. It was something that I was like, that's a lot of that was the reason why I didn't even want to pursue it at first, because I was like, I don't want to even think about having to let that go. And for me, it took me to sit there and be like, well, this is something that I'm idolizing. Like that's not healthy either. And I had to trust. And I had to just be okay with what's going to happen will happen, because what is mine will be mine regardless. Like the outcome is going to be mine. I had to be okay with being content in every circumstance. And that was how I kind of let go of fears when it came to my career, of letting go of, doubts, insecurities, opinions. I had to let go of that because for me to fully be invested into this. And then there's obviously like friendships and relationships. Like, how do I deal with that? And the thing about me is I love deeply. I am someone that will sell you, like I will give you my right arm if I had to. I will drive 6 hours to like go help you or see you, even if that means like being like coming from work. Like I was someone that is consistent with like my time is everything. And so for me, it's very hard to let go of people when I've put that much time and love and care into a person. And, people who know me know that like I am someone that's also very cold. Like as loving as I am, my detachment game is just as strong. Like I will cut the cord. I have this joke. I used to say this with people. I used to be like, cut the cord. And it's strong for me. But I feel like I look into my life of where I was able to just let go of like people, and it's like kind of that acceptance of like, well, that person was never going to serve me in the first place. So I realized like what was hard for me is when I genuinely believed in a person or believed in who this person is and I cared for this person, it's harder for me to let go because I've invested that time. Whereas like I've been in relationships and friendships where I'm like, that really like didn't do anything for me. Like that wasn't something that served me. They weren't growing me. They weren't like, it was fake, or I felt like this wasn't like a real thing. Like whatever. I've been in relationships where I've like weren't like long and I was like, well, didn't see a future with that person, so it didn't matter. Like it was so easy for me. Like once you screw up, it's so easy for me to be like, bye, done, because I didn't see something in you. So like when people say like, just let go of it, like I was realizing that it's actually very easier said than done. And for me, what I kind of reflected on myself is it's very hard for me to let go when I care so deeply about someone. And I think for me and anyone is you're going to come to a point where you've really had enough. And it's different. Like I know someone that it took 5 years for them to like remove themselves from a situation. Sometimes it takes 4 months. Sometimes it takes a day. Everyone deals with letting go in their own way. And that's also part of the healing process. I talk about that in one of my other podcasts is like, you're going to like letting go is actually going to take a lot of healing as well. And so for me, I remember like a lot of this season specifically, there was a lot of things that I had to let go of. And that was relationships, friendships, just like a life that I had. And I had to be in where I am now. And kind of seeing like, what is it that I want? And what is like, what does that look like? Like you have to really envision that. And so I would really like if you're kind of feeling guilty for like, oh, like I couldn't do it. Like, why can't I do it? Like I've been in that place. I've been in a place where like I would let people's actions hurt me consistently. And yet I was just like, why can't I just let go? And I realized it's because I care. And I saw something that said like, nice people with good hearts always lose. And someone like responded to it and was like, it's because people with good hearts weren't in it to win in the first place. And that was another thing. I was like, my heart was in it for the person. Like I have this thing of imagining, when I'm imagining, like I see the potential in a person and I believe in them so much that that's another reason it's hard for me to let go. Because again, like I also believe in a God that could do the impossible. And I think that sometimes clouds my judgment. When I believe in a person, I believe, well, you know, like God's going to do it too. And sometimes that control that I have to let go and realize, well, if God's going to do it, God's going to do it by himself. Like it's going to be God and that person, God in that situation. It's not going to be like me trying to juggle like everything. Because like I said, like you can't change someone. Only they can do that for themselves. And when you've let go of the idea, you kind of see things like in a different light. Like I was really just like my peace was being sacrificed. And so when someone's presence is sacrificing your peace, that's when you have to reevaluate, what am I doing? And again, that goes back to every person is going to have a moment where they're just done. And sometimes it is going to take a long time, or sometimes it's not. And sometimes it's going to take like rock bottom for you to just get it. Sometimes it's not. But when you've reached that point, there is this peace and stillness of just like, you've accepted the situation, doesn't mean you're going to be okay. I think like just because you've let go doesn't mean you're not going to have your days where you're sad. Like, again, doing the right thing doesn't mean that you're going to be happy. It doesn't mean that it's easy. Doing the right thing doesn't mean that you're going to be not crying, not having your moments. Like, it's hard because doing the right thing is accepting the reality of the situation, and that's not easy. And that's a part of letting go, is accepting the situation for what it is. And eventually all you can do is like move forward and see what you are going into. And I started forgetting also, like when I see me forgetting who I am because I'm so invested in something else, like that's when I'm like, oh, because I always say like you add to my life, you don't take away. I am someone who is very independent, very like I'm a freaking firecracker. Like I just keep going. Like Carson, like, how's my energy? Would you say that? I'm shy. But I'm not. Like, I'm someone that can talk to an 80-year-old person and have the best time, and then also talk to a 5-year-old and have the best time, and like go out and like my batteries doesn't like, it doesn't stop. And that's another thing, like, because I love people. I hate people, but I love people. Like, I love being a light to people. And so when I see, like, I take those relationships and I want to like build people. Like, that's what I love doing. I love seeing people succeed. I love seeing people be their best selves. And when I really believe in a person, that's hard for me to let go. Like, when you've proved me, like, when I believe in you and you prove me wrong, it just hurts. And I think that's, you know, a pride thing. And I have to get over that too. Like, I think that a part of it is like, damn, you screwed me over. And I have to be okay and accept that and let that go. Whereas like I'd hold on, not letting go, because I'm like, no. Like, but this is what they can be. And eventually you just got to realize like everything is put in your life for a reason and everything is taken away. And whatever happens, happens. But that's only something that you can do. You know, I eventually got to a point where it was very clear to me when I have to let go of certain things or when things don't serve you. I mean, let's talk about friendships. Like, a lot of friendships that I had, not all of them I still am friends with today. And I had to, like, there was a period in my life where like it hurt when one of my closest, like, friendship breakups are like a whole different level. And like that was something that when I was, you know, growing up, it was like hard for me because I was like, everyone's in my life. Like, because again, I'm so social that I'm like, everyone's important to me. And then as I started getting older, I was like, no. People serve a purpose into your life and they're not meant to go into the next season. Sometimes they're only meant to serve in one season, and that's okay. And I started to see that when I switched my mind to understanding that, some friendships actually, as much as it was so hard for me, also was something that I had this piece of like, okay, it's like, why am I going to fight for something that's not meant to be mine? Because what is meant to be mine will be mine no matter what. It's going to come to me no matter the circumstance, like no matter the chaos. Like, you need to find peace within the chaos. And if there's something that, you know, when there's peace about that, you know that, okay, like this person's not going to serve my life. And certain relationships too, like it was very hard for me because when I genuinely care about a person, you know, I see so much. And another thing about me is like, I don't waste my time. I don't like to waste my time. Every relationship, every friendship I have, like, don't get me wrong. If you're someone I don't know, like, I will definitely talk to you. I will like hang out with you. But then I have only a certain amount of people in my circle that if you're in that circle, like, I care so deeply about you. Like, I would literally drop everything for you if it came down to it. Because I don't waste my time. when someone wastes my time, it's so disrespectful to me. It's something that I'm like, oh, okay, like, cool. It makes you feel like, okay. Or when someone doesn't see it, like, I think for me, what I struggle with is like, again, I always say, like, you can't change a person, but I can't fathom how some people can't understand. Like, there's like this delusion with some people. Like, I don't think I could ever fathom that. I don't think I could ever understand how a person can hurt someone so deeply and not, understand. Like, again, I am someone that I have screwed up a lot in my life. I have done things to people. I've said things to people. I am not perfect. But if you sit me down and you talk to me about it, I will rationalize with you. I will understand. And if anything, I will own up to the mistakes I made, because it's the reality. Like, it is, like, I would like, there's even been times where, like, I didn't see it the way someone saw it, and I still was like, okay, I'm going to kind of understand, like, we're gonna have to agree to disagree, but like, I'm gonna sit there and still see your concept, because everyone is freaking different. Like, no one thinks the same. Me and Carson do not think the same. We are the same, but we don't think the same all the time. And sometimes, like, what bothers him is not, like, I'm like, what are you talking about? And vice versa. And I have friendships where, like, Matt, like, love him to death. And even though we're so similar, like, there's times too, like, he doesn't see it, I don't see it. Like, but we will sit there and talk. And that's a part of maturing as well. Like, if you can't sit there and, like, have a conversation about your wrongs, you need to reevaluate your freaking life. You need to reevaluate a lot of things, because you need to be able to sit down and speak it and actually, like, try to, like, 2 + 2 is always 4. And so, if you know, you know. So, you'll know, you'll get it. You'll get it later. Text Marilena that I said that, please. She'll get it. Please just get it. But 2 + 2 is always 4, Carson. I've learned that from from a person that obviously doesn't know 2 + 2 is 4. But like, when that is so obvious, if you don't get it, you just don't get it. And I think that's the sad thing for me, is like, I have to let go of of people understanding things that just, they never will. Like, some people just won't get it. And that's like, that was very hard for me. So if you're going through this phase of like, I can't let go, I can't let go, I can't let go, like, eventually you will. It took me a long time too. Like, when I was younger, I was someone who lacked empathy. I lacked, and I think it was just the background that I was raised. And also I went to a very conservative church. So like, I was raised very conservative Christian. And so the idea of messing up, it's like, no, you can't, what? You can't mess up. So my mindset, when someone would do something, I would be like, oh, you can't do that. Or how could you feel like that? And it, life will humble you. Let me tell you, life will humble you fast. And so a lot of things were happening to me that I was doing things that I was telling people not to do. And then I realized the best advice is just no advice, because the way you're going to act in a situation is not going to be the same way as someone else acts in a situation. Because once you're in it, it's only what you can do. It's how you act in it, no one else. Someone could give you the advice that you want, but you're not going to do it because it's only something you can do. And that is the same thing when it comes to letting go. It is something only you can do. And eventually, whatever that reason is, you will be able to. Because the thing that's funny is again, I bring God into it, is God will really bring you to that point where you just are I'm done. And you give it to him. And you're just it is what it is. Here it is. I'm surrendering this to you, and whatever you're going to do with it, I'm letting go, because that control, you could only hold on to it for so long. And you feel that peace. I always say, when I ask God to show me something, God will show me. even if I don't want to hear, like, even if I know the answer, but I don't want to see it, God will show me. And sometimes God shows me to like rock bottom. And that's when I'm just like, okay, like I hear you, I see you, and I accept it. And that was something that I recently went through, was honestly finally getting to a point where I've let go. And I am very thankful for all my like really close friends that like understand the season that I'm in. Carson. Carson's right here, by the way. He's my intern for this podcast. I know, but like I just thought you'd be surprised. Some people are, but I am so thankful for the patience some people had, and just the love and support, because like that's another thing. Like it could be very like, I've been in situations where I've seen my closest friends really just like doing something that I'm like, if you just cut this, like God is going to bless you so much. But again, it's not my life. Like only you can do that. And I've sat down and and all I had to do is just be there. Is just like, is just be like, okay, like I'm gonna choose to stick with you through this, even though like, because it's so easy when it's not you. It's so easy to give those opinions. It's so easy to give that advice. But when it's you, like it's hard. Like you're holding on, and that comes from how you feel, the love you give, and like for me, it is very much. It's hard for me to let go because of the love I have for people, and the time. And it's like crazy. It's insane. And then, the people that have stuck by me, that is something that I'm so, so thankful for, because, it was not an easy season. It's still not an easy season, but that's the beauty of like, you're not meant to do it alone. And when I'm going through all this, like I have those people that are supporting me and telling me like, it's okay. So what I like urge is like, don't beat yourself up for taking time, for when is it going to happen? Because I asked that too. When, why, how? And one day it's just there. Like, and it doesn't mean it's magically like, okay, everything's fine. No, you just come to peace with like, my peace is worth so much more. You come with reality, the truth. You come with, there's no way I can actually let this happen. You come with self-worth. There's so much things that you're finding, and you're like, okay, like this is it. Like this is enough is enough. And whatever that situation is, enough is enough. I always talk about like my worth as well. Like that took a long time too, is like letting go of like the insecurities. Like, but that's something I battle with every single day. Like we all have them. And I could sit here and beat myself up sometimes, like, well, I had a good day yesterday, but today I'm not. You're going to constantly be facing those pains. Like life is like, and sometimes you can't even explain it. That's life. And you have to be easy on yourself. Take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. And pour that into you. And then eventually, like that letting go is something that just comes naturally. I also believe that with every situation you're not letting go, it's also going to teach you something. So all the situations, like moving into the next, the next space, for me, I was like, well, this is going to teach me something. Even though you don't understand it, later on you will. Everything that is put into your life, God uses. Even if it's something that was bad, God will use it for good. And so no matter what that is, you just have to trust. And you will have that moment. You will have that, just like something will overcome you, and you're just going to be like, okay. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's an amazing thing. I think when you know, you know. But yeah. How much time do we have? Yeah. Oh, okay. I always ask this, but I just wanted to, something about my podcasts before I finish is like, I want to be very honest with you guys. I always want to kind of voice what's going on in my life, what's I'm feeling, because I think that we tend to hide the reality of what we go through because of fear of judgment, fear of this, and I don't want to do that. I want to be as honest, because I think that, again, as much as I want to be a light, like God will use everything, and that's something that I want to be open about. And I remember like having that fear of like, well, people, I don't want people knowing this, like, oh, this is bad. But like, if I could help someone with the understanding that like, you're not alone, you're human, and every day there's going to be something thrown at you, and all you could do is handle today. And that's something I had to learn too. Just take each day, day by day, and time heals. People are going to do what they want to do. You have to focus on you, your peace. And as much as like there's been people that have screwed me over, or situations that I've had to let go of, I have to also remember, like, pray for your enemies too, because they're going through their own thing. And as much as that's hard, when you let go, there's a piece of just knowing that, you know, I wish you the best. Sometimes I don't right away, but but you know, eventually that piece comes too. I could beat myself up because I know that I'm like, oh, but I have to be kind. But that comes, like, that's not easy. Forgiveness isn't easy. None of it is easy. And it is a day by day process. And is a day by day. It's an accountability that you have to take account of how to be a better person, how to be a better you. And when you let go of all these things that are not serving you, it is taking a step to continuing to be the best version of yourself. So I really hope that whoever's watching this, continue growing, be easy on yourself, and tune into next time. I have a little surprise. I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, do you have anything to say? I know. Anyways, thank you guys so much. This is Talks with T. Tune in for next time.